Keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Ever wondered why the boost from motivational videos fades so quickly? Because if they were effective, we would be unstoppable. You know, initially motivation can turn us into a hyper-effective, success-oriented machines, but only for a short time. But why is that bad? First of all, this super motivation can work against you. This was proven by Eric Dodson in his law. In any business, productivity and motivation increases at first, but then begins a steep drop due to increased stress and tension. And the harder the task, the less motivation is needed, because simple tasks seem routine and we need a little boost to start doing them. But complex tasks without a boost cause anxiety, so doing them on super motivation is the worst option. So the best thing is not to know how to get motivation, because motivation doesn't last long, but to learn how to get concentration. And there are some tools that could help with that. The most important thing is to limit your phone usage, because phone is the biggest enemy of concentration. I think all of us had a problem when we were trying to work and suddenly received a notification from Instagram or another social network. And after checking the message, your concentration was already lost and you realized that you had been stuck in the app for an hour. That's how our brain works. When given the option to watch naked girls or do work, instinctively our brain chooses the less energy consuming activity. When we watch a lot of short content, short videos or clips, it maximizes the damage to your mental health because the brain thinks it's getting a lot of useful information. For example, every 10 seconds you change from one video or image to another, and biologically our brain thinks it has done a tremendous amount of work, has gotten a lot of dopamine, and then can't be productive because the resource is exhausted. As software engineers, our mission is to develop applications and social media platforms that keep you engaged as long as possible. The longer you use our app, the more profit we generate. App's limitations doesn't work because you just press a button, ignore time limit, and continue using this app. Removing every app isn't the best strategy, as for example my business depends on social media, especially Instagram, to interact with customers. But you can create conditions where you are less likely want to use your phone. First application that saved me hours of work is 1sec. This is a mobile widget that tells you to complete some tasks before you enter the app. To be honest, this app is a game changer for me as a developer, because the main problem with concentration during my work was the slow launch of the application during development. When an application is heavy, it usually takes about 30 seconds to build and compile a project, and there are nothing to do during this time, so I was checking news pages or social media, which killed my concentration for the next half an hour. What this app actually does is not allowing you to enter the selected application for the next 30 seconds or more. I even extended the timer because I realized I was mindlessly opening apps, almost like an automatic reflex or addiction. This app kills that habit. It even irritates you because you not only have to wait 30 seconds, but sometimes you have to do some random tasks, like rotate the phone 5 times or follow a dot on the screen. And with all of these shitty tasks, you have enough time to rethink if you really need to enter this application or you're doing it by reflex, as I did. By the way, it's very awkward to rotate the phone in public. I noticed that long-term effects kicked in when you get annoyed, and this app is supposed to be annoying. By adding extra friction when opening certain apps, you can help your brain to reduce the instant gratification which apps like Instagram or TikTok usually provide. After some time, you'll notice that the urge to open those apps declines, and it really helps you to think less about using them, which leads to less screen time usage in general. For some vendors, it's even possible to block adult content, as some experts suggest. There are many other features, but I'm not getting paid to advertise these applications with my 4 subscribers, so test them by your own. The second most powerful recommendation that I use is to switch your screen to black and white mode. What is the reason for it and how it works? At first, it's very confusing to use your phone this way, but after some time, you'll realize that you can still get the useful information. I mean, all the messages are readable, all the news, other content, but the phone becomes not so interesting and not so bright. You know, about 2 months ago, I switched my phone to black and white mode and noticed that the world now seems a little brighter and more interesting than when I look at my phone. While shooting this video, I switched back because currently I'm shooting this video on my iPhone, so I can see all the colors normally. And when I use apps now, I realize how toxically bright the screen is. And for me, it's a really amazing effect with a black and white screen, because even if I watch short videos, they're black and white, they're not as interesting. To switch the screen to black and white, simply go to the accessibility screen and text size section in the settings. Enter color filters and press the radio button. Next tip is for advanced guys, maybe like me, is to delete all the apps you haven't used for the last 6 months. You know, it's like with old clothes. They take up space in your closet and wasting your attention resource on unnecessary things. For example, I have an app to find the free toilets in Europe. Why do I need this app now? I don't know. When you feel this empty space on your phone, you don't have so many options of what to use. So as a result, it reduces addiction. For instance, Mark Zuckerberg wears the same t-shirt every day to avoid wasting energy on choosing clothes. For example, I have deleted all my social networks from my phone and only use them on my computer. On my desktop, I have an extension called Call to Turkey Blocker. With this application, you can block Instagram except for the Instagram Messenger, for example, if you need to respond or chat with clients. All other applications will be blocked. And the same thing can be done with all applications, and you can leave only the sub pages you need to work with. To do so, you need to download this app, add the website you want to block, and add the exceptions. For me, it was Instagram Direct Inbox or Inbox. I don't know. Another powerful recommendation for those who spend a lot of time on YouTube is to turn off recommendations. I used an extension called DFTube. With one click, you can hide all recommendations on the YouTube homepage and also hide recommendations on the right side of the video. So you will watch only the content you really need and won't be distracted by anything else. I also changed the settings on my YouTube so it doesn't remember the content I watched. So when I type something in, it doesn't recommend me similar videos I've watched before. That's all the apps I'm using so far, but I have one more recommendation. What if you already lost your concentration, you're tired and you don't want to do anything else? The answer is to take a nap for 15 minutes and be sure to set an alarm so you don't fall into a deep sleep and feel broken. During a short sleep, nerve cells are reducing in size, and in the space between them leaks fluid from the spine. This fluid flushes out junk and toxins from your brain, including the toxins that cause Alzheimer's disease. It's like a reset of your brain, and afterward you feel productive and full of energy again. There is an interesting example of such method used by Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali. When they faced a difficult task that they couldn't solve, they would take some tinkling object in their hand, such as keys, sit on a chair and start to fall asleep. And at that moment, the solution to the problem had already been found.
This is very important because myself work constantly in the moment of sleep. Every of my best ideas coming through my dreams.
In the state of rapid eye movement sleep, the brain stores all the information collected during the day into important and unnecessary information. This is very useful because every time you learn something new connections are formed between neurons, and the more often you repeat an action, the stronger these connections become. But neuronal resources are limited, so during short sleep your brain does a checkup, checking which connections you use frequently and which ones take up extra space. For example, you watched a motivational video. Your brain detects this information as a weak connection and breaks it, which is why you so quickly forget what you watched yesterday or even a couple of hours ago. Conversely, strong connections such as learning a programming language or playing a musical instrument are reinforced and stored into a long-term memory. And also, short nap dampens all the negative emotions you've gotten during the day. So the most important recommendation in this video is go for a nap and then get right back to work. By the way, I've created a Telegram news channel where I share the latest updates on new technologies, startups and global tech trends. So if you are looking for inspiration for your business ideas or want to stay updated on what's happening around the world, subscribe. The link is in the description.